We'll do that. Good for you. But you understand, it's budget time, but we're having a terrible week.
You are having a terrible week.
We are having a terrible week. That's okay. Let's go to town.
Ready?
Sure.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the September 16, 2021 meeting for the Board of County Commissioners for Shawnee County. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year, also representing District 2. Joining me this morning is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3. Good morning.
Morning.
Madam Clerk, our first item.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
There are 3 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have a relatively small voucher report of $208,236.23. I've reviewed this and there's no items out of the ordinary to report, so I would move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, Public Works, number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for qualifications for professional design services necessary for the replacement of the Northwest 66th Street Bridge over Indian Creek, OSN 26, with the county responsible for 100% of design, right-of-way appraisal, and acquisition, utility adjustment, and 20% of construction engineering, and contingency costs, utilizing the 2017 to 2032 countywide half-cent sales tax for bridges.
It's a beautiful morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. We talked about this bridge last Thursday. It's going to be a shared cost with Shawnee County and KDOT, federal funds administered by KDOT. One small correction, the bridge is OSN 206. The OSN refers to an off-system bridge. If you recall, design, utilities, and right-of-way are 100% the responsibility of Shawnee County. And as part of that, I'm here before you requesting approval to solicit proposals from competent firms for design services for this structure. Before I get into questions, I just wanted to show a couple pictures to explain why this bridge is being replaced. Kind of from the public's viewpoint, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. The rail is antique-ish. It's beautiful. They don't build them like they used to. But if you go underneath, you can see that there's 5 steel girders. They're full of pack rust, and they have section loss. The deck doesn't look much better, so it's time to replace this bridge. As always, when I show these types of pictures, I do want to assure the public and the commission that the bridge is safe. With that, I take your questions.
Questions for Kurt regarding the bridge?
None.
Motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item C, Facilities Management, number 1, consider approval of the request to contract with Samco for the replacement of a restroom HVAC system on the roof of Manor Conference Center as emergency purchases utilizing the contingency fund. A, replacement restroom split system, $6,920, and B, replacement restroom RTU unit, $7,700.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nelda Henning, Director of Facilities Management. These units actually have failed. They are not currently working, and my understanding is they have not been working since approximately December of 2020. So we are in need of getting these replaced, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Questions? No. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item D, Health Department, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-307-2021 memorandum of understanding with United Way to serve as the fiscal agent for the Early Childhood Block Grant, July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2022, with an award of $256,063 for the Health Department with a 20% match, $51,213 for the grant with match dollars from the department's tax allocation included in the 2021 and 2022 budgets.
Good morning, Commissioners. As Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department, as the clerk read, this is our request to enter into an agreement with United Way for them to serve as the fiscal agent for the Early Childhood Block Grant here in our community. This is a collaborative grant that 8 partners come together and write, typically each year. Some years it's competitive and some years it's a renewal. For the Health Department, we use this funding for our Nurse-Family Partnership, or part of the funding that we use for that program, which is our evidence-based nurse home visitation program. United Way has served as a fiscal agent for as many years as I've been involved with the grant and does a great job of administering that grant. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions?
I'll move to approve or authorize and execute.
Motion to authorize and execute by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thanks. Our next item.
Item E, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider approval of request to solicit bids for the resurfacing of 12 tennis courts and 2 basketball courts with an estimated project cost of $98,004.50, funding coming out of excess reserves.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Department. As the clerk said, we are asking to do some court resurfacing on 12 tennis courts, 2 basketball courts. These are at, the tennis courts are at Lake Shawnee. The basketball courts are Aquarian Acres, and then the ones at Hillcrest, or I'm sorry, tennis courts at Aquarian Acres and basketball court at Hillcrest. The memo does state that we're using excess reserve, and I just want to touch on that briefly as we're about to finish these turf projects. Just a reminder, with this excess reserve money, we did we renovated 18 parks. We did the turf projects at Bettis and the Girls Complex. We did the road resurfacing on East Edge Road at Lake Shawnee and several other smaller projects. But as we're getting to the end of this, we realized we're going to have some money left over, so we wanted to use that to stretch this out as far as we could. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Tim, there's been a lot of discussion about tennis, pickleball,
Yeah.
and resurfacing old tennis courts to become pickleball courts. Hughes Court was one example. And with the popularity of pickleball, should we be resurfacing these courts and all of these courts for tennis? Is tennis still a viable sport in Shawnee County?
Oh, absolutely. There's a place for tennis in Shawnee County, and I think there always will be. The tennis courts at Lake Shawnee, we actually did a little research on that. We thought about doing some pickleball courts there, but that is, Shawnee Heights does use those courts for all of their programs and their meets, and they need that space, so we're not going to do that. We are putting pickleball lines on the courts at Aquarian Acres, and I think as we move forward, when we have the opportunity to do both, we will. But to answer your question, yes, tennis very much still a viable sport, and what the two have to coexist.
So when you do put the lines down, would you be able to play both tennis and pickleball on the one court?
You will, but we wouldn't do it at a place like at Lake Shawnee, because when they're having meets there and it's more of an organized sanctioned event, we wouldn't want to have both sets of lines on those courts. But for just recreational play, absolutely, could have both.
Is there an issue with the nets to do that, though?
No, nets are not an issue. No, just the lines. The lines are slightly different. So yeah, it's widely done. There's a lot of communities that are doing both on single courts. So
Will that happen at the Shawnee North also?
Pickleball and
yes, it will. Yes.
So that'll be pickleball also?
Yeah, we'll do it together
Okay.
there. We won't do it at Lake Shawnee, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll add some. We won't do it on every court, but we'll pick a few to add it to, and that's how we'll go. Moving forward.
It's good.
Any other questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E2, consider approval of request to waive the purchasing policy and approve entering into contract C308-2021 with Restoration and Waterproofing Contractors, Inc. to perform restoration work on the All Veterans Memorial near the Great Overland Station with labor, equipment, and materials not to exceed $19,500 and granite panels plus 10% markup not to exceed $9,075, with project funds to come from the Great Overland Station's operating funds.
Good morning again, Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. So as you know, earlier this year, we went out for an RFP to have this project completed, and we did not receive any bids on that RFP. Literally on the day it was closing, we were contacted by Restoration and Waterproofing Incorporated, and they didn't have enough time to put in a bid, but they were interested in doing the work. And so we did meet with them on site. We feel confident that they can do the job. They've been in Topeka since 1974. They have on-call contracts with the state of Kansas, the University of Kansas, and Kansas State University. So they've been around. I believe they know what they're doing. So we'd like permission to waive the purchasing policy and move forward on this project.
Tim, can you walk through with us the scope of the actual work to be done?
Yeah.
When the memorial first opened up, you have the granite blocks, there was a water feature, the flame turned, so you had a mechanical, you had a water, you had the granite, and now we have no water, it doesn't turn, and the granite's falling off.
Well, that's correct. All of that is correct. Let's start with the top of the sculpture that turned. So there's been a lot of information gone about this and a lot of discussion, but the truth of it is it was designed to turn with the wind, and it's just too heavy to do that. So you could climb up there today and push it with your hand, it still turns.
Let's
But
not tell people to do that.
yeah, please don't, especially right now.
Just did.
It's not real stable. We're not planning on making any adjustments to that. We're not going to put a motor in it. We're not going to make it turn. It's going to stay the way it is. The water feature is part of the reason we're in the situation we're in, is that, the water has gotten inside of this and caused things to decay and expand and freeze and thaw, and that whole cycle has caused this thing to start to fall apart, and that's why the marble or granite panels are falling off. So this company will go in, they'll dismantle it, they'll number all the pieces, store them off-site while they do the work. They'll clean everything up, rebuild the foundation, or make repairs to the structure. Not necessarily rebuild it, but repair it. When they go back in, hopefully that they're going to waterproof everything. But it is important to note that the waterproofing that they'll do is not permanent. I mean, they're going to seal it, but we're going to need to, on an annual basis, come in and do that, reapply some of this waterproofing. That's just the nature of it. So we'll need to do that in the future moving forward, but that's essentially what we're looking at.
Will the water features all be there as originally?
No, the water features will not be there. We are proposing to eliminate the water features altogether.
Okay. Other questions?
Not so much a question, but a comment. I mean, when we took over the Great Overland Station, I was kind of shocked at the condition of this memorial. And I think this is an item that couldn't happen soon enough.
Agreed.
I do wish that we had received some private funding. I think this is the perfect project for our foundation to get involved in. I think there's plenty of people out there that would like to chip in to see this memorial back to its original glory. But when I do, like I said, I think time is of the essence here, and let's get it done. So I'll move to approve.
I'll second. I'll second.
Just before we,
No.
one last question. So even though we are not restoring the water feature, would there ever be a possibility of restoring the water feature in the future, or are we removing that water feature completely?
I'm not sure I can answer that. I don't know that I have enough information to answer that. My gut says, once we make these changes, that will be the end of the water feature unless we want to go in and take it apart again and make that work. I know we're not going to go in there and make sure that everything dealing with the water feature is ready to go if we decide to turn it on. So my guess is this would be the end of the water feature if we move in this direction.
Okay. Just as a side note, the water feature was a unique feature to it. If we have the opportunity at not increasing the cost exponentially of adding some LED lights that would be able to shine on the memorial or change, do some lighting, something unique, I think that there's some opportunities I would like to see the department explore.
Sure, I think we can do that. There's actually lighting out there now that just doesn't, when we originally took over, we went in and replaced the bulbs and a lot of the lighting. There is lighting there now.
But if we could replace it with some LED, multicolored lighting.
Yeah, what we found out is that the setup is not good. So to move forward and to light that area the way it needs to be lit, not just the memorial, but the flags and everything else, we're going to need to come up with another plan
Okay.
on how to do that. So we'll make sure and include the memorial in that process.
And Commissioner Mays, it was your motion to approve?
Yeah.
Commissioner Rippon, is your second?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item F, Audit Finance, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C309-2021, a 3-year extension agreement with Century Business Technologies for the leasing of multifunction copier units and associated service agreements for all Shawnee County departments.
Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. Our current copier contract is coming to the end, and so Pat Oblander, our IT Director, helped me to really analyze this situation, what we felt like was best going forward, if we looked at getting new copiers, if we looked at extending the current copiers we have. We looked at both of those alternatives and talked those through. First of all, we looked at the life of the copiers we have now. We have had them for 5 years. Their useful life is certainly longer than that. Another thing that we took in consideration was during 2020, a lot of these copiers were not used for half of the year as people worked from home. Another thing that I believe is happening, the pandemic kind of moved it up, but I think overall we are moving to more paperless. So I think that is also causing less use on these copiers as we go forward. So we felt like it was worth looking into extending this contract and just using the same machines that we have now. We, as part of that process, we did send out an email to all departments with copiers asking if they are having any problems with their machines, and that way we could pinpoint, first of all, if there was a lot of machines that were having problems, but if not, if there were just a few, that we could make sure that was taken care of in this extension process. So I am here bringing forward to you my request to extend our contract on these same machines for 3 years. It will, we will have a 24% savings on for each of those 3 years from where we are right now, and we will still have a complete service agreement. So they will be, serviced as they have been. So, any questions?
Questions? I'll move for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F2, update on revenues and expenses as of August 31st, 2021.
Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. This is the financial overview as of August 31st. We will first look at revenue. Through August 31st, we had received revenue of $430,803. That is $73,101 over budget, so that is about as close as you can get. That is actually, you know, I always talk about percentages, that is 0.07%. So we are right on budget in total. This chart just shows the different categories that I will go into individually. First category is property tax revenue. This has not changed since last month because we did not have a tax distribution this month, but we've received $81,980,054, and that is $549,000 over budget. Next is other tax revenue. We received $9,209,874. That is $151,000 over budget, and that is attributable to motor vehicle primarily. Next are charges for services. We received $4,339,461. That is $130,000 under budget, and it's kind of, as we talked last time, it's a combination of different items. DOC's revenue is actually down for the year, or down compared to budget, but the register of deeds is higher than budget. So this is, you know, the total of all of those combined is $130,000. And then other revenue is $1,901,415. That is $497,000 under budget. And as we have talked all year, that is due to investment income. Here is our pie chart. 84% of our revenue is from property taxes, 9% from other taxes, 5% from charges for services, and 2% for other revenue. Next, we'll look at expenditures through August 31st. The expenditures including encumbrances total $76,238,089. That is actually $2,591,000 under budget, and I will talk about that as we go through these different categories, but it's primarily all in one category. This chart just shows the difference, the different categories and how the expenditures, you know, stack up. Our first section is law enforcement, and this is where we do see the big budget variance. The expenditures are $35,064,099. That is $2,474,000 under budget, primarily in two departments, DOC, Department of Corrections, and the Sheriff's Office. I think a lot of this is timing, as we talked last month, that I do not expect this to remain through the end of the year. They will have additional, some of it is timing differences. I know especially in DOC, we have some timing differences there, especially in the health area. I know in talking with Eve Kendall just last week, they had 3 inmates that were in the hospital. All of them were non-COVID related, so they were not related to COVID, but those bills will be coming in, you know, at a later date. So just those types of things. So I know we have quite a lag time in getting medical expenses, so I'm sure theirs will decrease. And then also the Sheriff's Office always has some larger expenses at the end of the year that they make, so I do not expect this variance to stay at that level throughout the rest of the year. The next category is recreation. We have spent $11,464,481. That is $182,000 over budget. That is attributable to the Stormont Vale Event Center that we advanced their tax allocation for the year to help them with cash flow. And of course, my budget was set to show that being paid out throughout the year. Next is Public Works, and this is just the general fund expenditures for Public Works are $6,309,561. That is $45,000 under budget, so right on budget. Public Health expenditures are $6,048,627, and that is $3,200 over budget, so right on budget. Administrative Services, $9,144,656. That is $256,000 under budget, and that is for general expenses and the IT department. The IT department, it's a timing issue with when they do their computer refresh. And then our last is debt service, and we spent $8,206,663, and that's right on budget. This chart just shows the different categories and how they stack up together next to each other. And then here's our pie chart. 46% of our expenditures are for law enforcement, 15% for recreation. Public Works is 8%, and that is the general fund portion only. Public Health is 8%, and that is the general fund portion only. 12% is administrative services, and 11% is debt service. Do you have any questions?
Questions? All right, thank you, Betty.
Okay, thank you.
Our next item.
Item 5, administrative service, or administrative communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission on any item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation. Just wanted to go over once again that we've got Garden Glow starting this weekend. So it begins on Saturday, September 17th, runs through October 3rd. That's 7 to 10 nightly. There's a $5 admission fee, and children 5 and under are free. All the proceeds go to help, the Ward Mead Botanical Gardens. So please come out. It's a great event. Also want to let people know that we are having the Sartoma Club Duck Race this Saturday. They will be doing the duck drop at 10 a.m. It's a little bit different than in the past. No vendors. You are welcome to come out and watch the duck drop if you'd like. But due to COVID, they've scaled it down a little bit. But they are doing it, and what I've heard, they've had a lot of donations this year. There've been a lot of ducks purchased, so should be a good event.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other communications? Commissioner Mays, anything new?
I guess today's local consult, right? And that this afternoon for KDOT. So if there's any transportation projects you'd like to see KDOT working on, feel free to jump on there, and it's a virtual meeting only. So get on there and tell them your transportation needs in Shawnee County.
Great. Mr. Rippon.
There's a car show at Gage Park this Sunday. It benefits the War Memorial, the one at Gage Park. And so come on out if you like looking at old cars.
There's a lot to do in the community this weekend, and it looks like it's going to be a good weekend again. So I don't have anything additional. Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session this morning. It will be on 2 items. It falls both under consultation with the attorney for the body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, one relating to contract negotiations, and the other one relates to possible pending litigation. 15 minutes for each item, and a total of 30 minutes. No action is anticipated, and that's a motion made by Commissioner Cook. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. And let's say we'll start at 9:35. We're in executive session.
It's shiny.
Go ahead.
We are back from executive session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.
Cut the room off here.